Welcome to Byte-Sized Tech, where we blend casual conversations with, insightful discussions on the latest in technology and gadgets. Get ready for a double dose of tech goodness today, all right? First, we're diving into, well, it's a revolutionary display tech called QDEL, and it's generating quite a buzz lately. Then we'll tackle, I guess you could say, the age-old battle for your TV's ports. It's USB-C versus HDMI. The classic. Okay, so let's unpack all this. You sent us some articles about this new QDEL tech, and honestly, I gotta say, it sounds pretty mind-blowing.
Yeah, I think what's really fascinating about QDL, which stands for quantum dot electroluminescent, is it has the potential to completely change how we experience visuals. You know how your current LCD screen, it relies on a backlight to kind of illuminate the picture?
Right.
Well, QBL is totally different. It uses these super teeny tiny quantum dots that actually light up individually when electricity hits them.
Whoa, so it's like each pixel is its own little firefly creating the picture, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm picturing like a swarm of fireflies buzzing around and somehow forming a perfectly clear image. It's wild.
Yeah, that's a great way to think about it, actually. And because each dot is kind of emitting its own light, QDL can achieve, it's incredible, the color accuracy it can get and a wider range of colors than we've ever seen before. I think one of the articles you shared even mentioned that QDL could approach full BT 2020 coverage, which is, that's like the gold standard when it comes to color.
So basically, we're talking about colors so real they'll jump off the screen. Count me in.
Yeah.
And what about those, I read about this, what about those super fast response times? As a gamer, that's something I'm always looking for in a new display.
Oh, absolutely. QDO's self-emissive nature means there's no lag time like you get with traditional LCDs. So for you, that means, say goodbye to motion blur and hello to crystal clear action, whether you're, racing a car or battling aliens, whatever your game is.
Awesome. And on top of all that, QDL is supposed to be super energy efficient too, right? Good for the planet and my wallet, always plus, right?
For sure.
But, tell me, is this tech actually ready for prime time? Or is it all still, a futuristic dream?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Well, companies like NanoSeas are pushing hard to bring QDL to market, I think by 2026, they're saying, but it's still very much in its early stages. You probably saw in one of the articles that Sharp NSE even showed off some prototypes at CES 2024, but they weren't quite ready for consumers, not yet.
So it sounds like we're still waiting for, the QDEL revolution to really kick off.
Exactly. I think the biggest challenge right now is making sure these quantum dot displays, making sure they can actually last, stand the test of time. Imagine you spend all your hard-earned money on a fancy new QDL TV, only to have it fizzle out after a year or something. That's rough.
Yeah, that wouldn't be great, no. I can't wait to see what the future holds for QDL, though. I am really excited to see this tech develop. It's promising. But, even with this, amazing, amazing new display tech coming out, on the horizon.
Yeah.
You still need a way to connect our devices to it, right?
And that brings us to our next topic, the epic showdown. USB-C versus HDMI, the classic. It's a debate that's been raging on for a while now, and honestly, I'm a little lost.
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, I think this port battle is all about which connection will dominate our entertainment systems in the future. You're probably, everyone is familiar with HDMI, I'm sure, at this point. It's been the reigning champion for years now.
Yeah.
Offering a simple and reliable way to connect our devices to TVs, and, it carries both audio and video signals over one cable, and it pretty much works with everything these days.
Yeah, HDMI has been the go-to for so long now, but USB-C, man, it seems to be coming in hot, you know what I mean? I've seen it more and more on my new gadgets and stuff. Yeah, you're right. USB-C is definitely gaining traction these days. What's interesting about it is that it's a multitasker, I guess you could say. It can handle data, power, and video all in one go. Remember that, tangle of cables you probably have behind your TV?
Don't remind me.
Well, USB-C has the potential to simplify all of that, at least.
Oh, fewer cables. Sign me up. But, tell me, does that mean USB-C can do everything HDMI can do? Can it handle those high resolutions and refresh rates that I need for gaming?
Absolutely. USB-C is no slouch when it comes to performance. It can definitely handle high resolutions and refresh rates just like HDMI, so you don't have to worry about, sacrificing any quality there.
Okay, good. So USB-C sounds pretty amazing, I have to admit. But one thing that's always bothered me about using USB-C with my TV is, my phone wouldn't charge while it was connected to the TV, which is kind of annoying. Is that still an issue?
That's a great question, and it's a common concern with USB-C and TVs. But good news. Anchor actually just released a cable that solves that problem, thankfully. Yeah. Their new USB-C to HDMI cable supports, get this, 140W fast charging. So you can, power your devices while you're enjoying, whatever content on the big screen.
Wow, problem solved.
Yeah.
I'm sensing a theme here. The USB-C is like the overachiever of the port world.
Yeah.
But I got to ask, do we really need another cable in our lives? I mean, I already have a drawer full of, all those tangled cords. It's honestly a nightmare.
It's a valid point, and a lot of people, I think feel that way. Choosing between USB-C and HDMI really boils down to like your needs and what you prioritize, I guess. You
Right.
have to consider things like device compatibility, the resolution and refresh rate you need, and if you want those extra features like charging capabilities, I guess.
So no clear winner in the port wars just yet, huh? It sounds like both options have their, pros and cons.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, for most TV connections right now, HDMI is still like the safe bet. It's the, I
Yeah.
guess, established standard and it just works. But as more and more devices, kind of embrace USB-C, the tide could definitely turn. It's a battle worth watching for sure.
Yeah, it is. Well, this is all very interesting, but before we get too deep into the port wars, let's take a step back and think about the big picture here for a second. You mentioned that this port battle is about which connection will, which one's going to dominate our entertainment systems in the future.
Yeah.
So with QDEL on the horizon and USB-C, making waves, what does that future actually look like? Like, paint me a picture here.
All right. Okay. Let's fast forward a few years. Imagine QDL displays have finally hit the market and they're everything we hoped for, right? You got those vibrant colors, the incredible clarity, and, remember, it's super energy efficient. Now picture this. You walk into your living room and you see your like sleek new QDL TV mounted on the wall. Instead of like a mess of cable snaking out the back, there's just one like slim reversible USB-C cable connecting your TV to everything. Your laptop, your gaming console, your streaming, everything.
Well, hold on. Are you telling me that I could, like, potentially replace that entire tangled mess behind my TV with just one cable? I mean, that sounds almost too good to be true, really.
It's the kind of future USB-C is aiming for. And because USB-C can handle power delivery, you wouldn't even need separate charging cables for your devices. So, imagine, no more hunting for the right charger, no more tangled mess. Just plug in and play. It's so simple.
Okay, now that's a future I can definitely get behind. It sounds like a dream come true, honestly. Cleaner, simpler, more intuitive.
Mm-hmm.
And you said QDEL is energy efficient too, right? So we're saving money on electricity as well. I mean, what's not to love?
You're getting it. But of course, as with any new technology, there will be challenges along the way. Manufacturers will need to scale up production to meet demand. And, there might be some early hiccups. Remember those early days of 4K?
Oh, yeah, I remember. It took a while for everything to catch up, the TVs, the content, the cables. So you're saying we might see a similar transition period with QDL?
Exactly. And there's, another layer to this too. We need to think about content creators. They'll need to adapt their workflows to take advantage of QDL's wider color gamut. I mean, imagine the possibilities for filmmakers, game developers, graphic designers. It's like a whole new canvas for creative expression.
Yeah, it's like they're getting a whole new set of crayons to color with, and they have to like learn how to use them, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty fascinating. So basically what you're saying is that we're on the cusp of a major shift in the way we consume and create content, but it's going to take some time for everything to fall into place.
Precisely. It's an evolution, not a revolution,
Right, right. Okay, so while we wait for this, exciting future to unfold, is there anything we can do to prepare, like right now? I want to make sure I'm ready to embrace the QDL revolution when it arrives.
That's a great question. I think first, when you're buying new devices, start paying attention to the ports they offer. Prioritize those with USB-C, even if you're not using it for video output just yet. It's a good way to, future-proof your tech investments,
So it's like thinking ahead, right? Planning for the future, even if that future seems, a bit far off right now.
Exactly. Think of USB-C as more than just a charging port. It's a versatile connection that can handle a wide range of tasks, including, high-quality video and audio transmission. It really is the future of connectivity.
Got it. Start embracing USB-C now so I'm not left behind when the QDL revolution hits. This has been a really insightful conversation. It's amazing to think about how quickly technology evolves and how these advancements can shape, the way we live and experience the world.
Absolutely. It's an exciting time to be a tech enthusiast, that's for sure.
Yeah, it really is. But before we wrap things up, I want to leave our listeners with something to ponder. Imagine you walk into a store to buy a new TV a few years from now. Would you even consider a model that doesn't have QDEL and USB-C? Or will those become like the must-have features like 4K resolution is today? Think about it.
It's a great question to consider. It'll be interesting to see how consumer preferences evolve as these technologies become more mainstream. Early adopters might be willing to pay a premium for the cutting edge, but mass adoption usually hinges on affordability and ease of use.
And let's not forget about the content. Will we see a surge in movies, TV shows, and games designed specifically to showcase the capabilities of QDL displays? It's a really exciting time to be a tech enthusiast, that's for sure.
Indeed. It seems like we're on the brink of a new era in home entertainment, driven by innovation and a desire for, even more immersive and engaging experiences. It's going to be quite the ride.
Well, that's a wrap for today's deep dive into QDL and the Battle of the Ports. Thanks for joining us on this whirlwind tour of the tech landscape.
It's always a pleasure to explore these topics with you and our listeners.
Thanks for tuning in to Byte-Sized Tech. If you enjoyed the episode, like, comment, share, and subscribe for more fun tech discussions.
Yeah, it's a tough question to answer, isn't it? Like, will people even want to buy a TV without QDL and USB-C in a few years? I mean, it's hard to imagine going back to old tech once you've experienced the new stuff.
Right. It's like, remember when we all had those big, bulky CRT TVs?
Oh, yeah. I remember those days. It's funny to think about it now.
And now you can barely give those things away.
Exactly. So who knows, maybe QDL and USB-C will become the new standard, just like flat screens and 4K did.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a possibility, especially if the content creators get on board too. Imagine, like, nature documentaries with incredibly vibrant colors thanks to QDL, or video games with hyper-realistic graphics.
Oh, man. I'm already getting hyped just thinking about it. That would be so cool.
Yeah, and think about all the possibilities for other types of content too, like educational videos or even just watching home movies. Everything would look so much more vivid and lifelike. It's like we're on the verge of a whole new era of visual entertainment.
Absolutely. It's a really exciting time to be a tech enthusiast.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Well, I think that's a good place to wrap things up for today. We've covered a lot of ground, from QDL displays to the battle between USB-C and HDMI. It's amazing to see how quickly the tech landscape is changing.
It really is. And it's always a pleasure to discuss these topics with you.
Likewise. And thanks to all of our listeners for tuning in to Byte-Sized Tech. If you enjoyed the episode, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more fun tech discussions. Until next time.